presentation, you may submit it online by clicking on the Q&A tab located on the right-hand side of your screen. Simply type your question into the dialog box at the bottom of the screen and send. Please direct all questions to the panelists. The presenter will attempt to address your questions during the presentation. After the formal presentation has ended, she will review and answer all remaining questions. Your presenter for today is Brianna Scott, Customer Training Manager at OmniUpdate. And without any further ado, I'll hand it over to her. Brianna?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this morning, or it's probably afternoon for you East Coasters. I've probably worked with some of you, but for those of you I haven't worked with, thank you for joining today. My name is Brianna Scott. I'm the Customer Training Manager at OmniUpdate, and today's training session is all about gadgets. I'm not going to bore you or put you to sleep. For those of you that are on the East Coast, it's 2 o'clock, so it's kind of after lunchtime, so you're probably ready for your after lunchtime nap. So I'm not going to get too in-depth with PowerPoints or anything that's going to put you to bed. I'm just going to dive right into gadgets, and we're going to investigate how awesome these little tools all are for you. Let me just get my browser going, and we'll get ready. Can everyone see my screen? Raise your hand. Just kidding. No one can raise their hands right now. Well, you can, but I'm not going to see if you're raising your hands. Anyway, I'm currently logged in to OU Campus. I'm logged into Galena, the favorite university that the majority of you have graduated from, so congratulations. I'm working in a history page just to demonstrate the majority of the gadgets. Don't tell my boss, but I refer to OU Campus gadgets as little stalkers. They follow you wherever you go in OU Campus, so you never know what gadget's going to follow you or what gadget's going to appear. They're just simply there based on where you are in OU Campus. But to demonstrate gadgets, best way to do so is in edit mode of a page. So if you're working in editable region, and I know everyone has different templates, and Galena has its own unique, beautiful templates, but the gadgets that you're going to see are, you're going to see the most gadgets, I guess, when you're in edit mode of an editable region. So if you click on a green editable region of a page, and that page expands, you're going to see the majority of gadgets available to you. I'm not sure how many of you are administrators or end users, content contributors, editors. Don't want to call you out by name. Everyone has their own name, and that's okay. But something to keep in mind, if any of you are administrators on the call, something you might want to do is access your add-ons. Go to the marketplace. I just want to make sure everyone has all of their gadgets before we start inspecting them. Once you have access to the marketplace, if you're an administrator, go ahead, anything that says an add, click on add. And if you're not an administrator, that's okay. I'm not discriminating. Maybe click on request, and then your administrator will know that you want that gadget. But there's a lot of gadgets. The cool thing is with every release, there might be gadgets that end up coming out with releases. So for instance, the assets gadget just came out, so probably a lot of you don't have that. So if you're an admin, go ahead and access add-ons, marketplace, click on add, grab that assets gadget. If there are any other gadgets that you see add, go ahead and grab them. If you're not an administrator, again, no discrimination, request it and just kind of sit back and watch what I'm about to do because it's kind of amazing. So something I've learned in my training sessions is that gadgets are very underutilized, and I think they're amazing, and I think that everybody should use them to their fullest potential. If everyone could click on Choose Gadgets if you're logged into your OU Campus instance, best thing to do is deselect all and then select all, just to ensure that all the gadgets that you have available are there and usable and you can see them. So if everyone could do that, if anyone's logged in, that's okay. If not, if you're just watching, make a note of that. But now that I've done that, I have a lot of different gadgets available to me. I'm currently logged into just an About History page. It doesn't matter what page I'm in, but to demonstrate the different gadgets available, it's very important to be in edit mode of a page just because you'll see the majority of the gadgets that are there for your use. So I'm just going to walk through what's available to you. And if anyone has questions, just chime in. For starters, there's my checked out content. Something to keep in mind, I'm sure all of you are not rookies and you've been working in OU Campus for a while. However, something I do stress with my checked out content, that gadget, it's very good to look at that guide. Check it out. It looks good, so check it out prior to logging out of OU Campus. Logging out of OU Campus doesn't check back in files, so it's good to look at your My Checked Out Content gadget prior to logging out just to ensure that you're not mistakenly hoarding files that you shouldn't. Not to say anyone this is hoarding. However, it's good to look at your My Checked Out Content gadget because it's easy to accidentally click a file and check it out. And as we all know, the only way to check a file back in is to publish it out or to physically check it in by clicking that light bulb. So My Checked Out content is a good gadget to look at. There's also the Images gadget. So if you're working in your website and you want to add an image, everyone knows you can right-click to insert edit image, or you can utilize the insert edit image icon in your toolbar. However, if you have your Images gadget turned on, you're able to drag and drop images from a specific location to your page. So that's nice for your end users. Or if you're an end user, that's nice for you too. Something to keep in mind is if you do add an image, and I can't stop stressing how mandatory this is, a description is mandatory for accessibility purposes, so make sure that you put a description in and describe the image that you're adding to the page. So it looks like this is a baseball image, so I'm going to thoroughly describe what's happening in this image. And it's Galena, everyone's favorite school. I'm not going to cover too much in detail in regards to how to insert, edit image and, the dependency manager, the description, tooltip, dimensions, etc., because I'm trying to demonstrate gadgets and I don't want to steal its thunder by going over the insert, edit image modal. However, something to keep in mind, just because I'm neurotic about accessibility, is just make sure you put in a thorough description, because that's best for accessibility. I'm just going to click OK. I know I didn't walk through too much of that, but again, it's just to demonstrate utilizing that gadget. Snippets. So, snippets are another type of gadget. You can utilize the puzzle piece icon to insert a snippet onto your page. However, it's all up to you. I'm not going to judge anyone. You can utilize that puzzle piece icon, or you can use the snippets gadget. Whatever your preference is, but just know that that gadget's there and it's available to you. If you want to add a snippet to a page, let me make some room. And everyone has different snippets. So again, this is Galena, and Galena has its own unique snippet. But for instance, if I wanted to add a 50-50 column split snippet, what I would do is left click, select, hold down, drag and drop it onto my page. That sounds like a hot dance move. I'm going to drag and drop that snippet onto my page. But once I add that snippet onto my page, I can edit the content, publish it out, preview it out, and I'll see how that snippet's rendered. Again, I'm not going to get into too much detail in regards to how the snippet is going to be shown, because chances are everybody on this webinar has a different snippet than I do, and that's okay. But I'm just demonstrating how to utilize the snippets gadget. I'm going to minimize that content. Okay, up next, dependency tag info. I'm going to give a big shout out to the dependency manager, which is an amazing, unique feature in OU Campus that helps cut down on broken links. And it's interesting because I've done a lot of on-site training, worked with end users, administrators, everybody under the OU Campus umbrella, and people are curious to see where their assets live. Okay, I've created an asset, I've added it to a page, I've created a page and it lives in OU Campus, it lives on my site, our page is pointing to it, you know, I'm adding an image to my page, or does this image exist on other pages? If you want to find out dependency tag info of a specific image, document, file, and by file I mean page in OU Campus, let's just say I want to find out information in regards to this specific image. Let's say I've uploaded this image and I'm curious as to find out if this image exists on other pages in the site. What I could do, simply right-clicking, insert edit image. That's a bad example. Right-clicking, insert edit image on the baseball picture. In the source, I see a dependency tag associated with that file. Let's say I've uploaded that image and I want to see if other pages have that image on it. And something to put out there, I chimed in earlier in regards to accessibility, but something that's also super important in regards to your website is search engine optimization. So the more unique images, the more unique text, whatever that is on your site, the better. So let's say you want to find out how many instances of this image exist on your site, right? Maybe you want to make sure that you're being as optimizable in regards to search engines as you can. What you can do is select a specific dependency tag, plug it into the dependency tag info gadget, click on the search icon. You'll see what type of file it is, the name, the staging path, and subscribers none. If you were to plug in a dependency tag of an image, a document, or a page, the subscribers that you would see are actually the pages that have that image on it. So it looks like this is the only page where this image lives. So that's good for search engine optimization. It's a unique image. It only lives on one page in my site, so that's good to know. URL shortener. I'm not the biggest social media user, I'm not going to lie. And when I train people, I get kind of confused and tongue-tied. Tweet to Twitter, post to Facebook. I don't really know what the names are. Anyway, if you need a unique URL that's short, let's say for Twitter there's a specific amount of characters that you're allowed to use, and you might need a unique URL and a shortened URL for your page. What you can do is plug in that URL. I'm just going to get ridiculous and start typing in a very lengthy URL. And I really don't think this URL exists, but I'm just demonstrating this for all intents and purposes, so don't judge me. Anyway, what you can do, let's say you need a small URL for, again, social media purposes, or you just want to populate a very friendly URL on your page. You would plug in a specific URL into the URL shortener. You can either click on the wand. If you don't want to click on the wand, you can hit enter. Whatever you want to do, that's up to you. It's going to work the same. But you're going to end up with a shortened URL. What you can do with that little guy is drag and drop it onto a page, or you can utilize it for social media purposes. So if you're utilizing Twitter, again, you're only allowed to use a specific amount of characters for Twitter. So if you need a unique URL and a shortened one, go ahead and utilize that URL shortener. YouTube. All right, up next, YouTube Gadget. So a lot of schools and universities have their own unique YouTube channels, and if you want, as an administrator, again, this isn't geared to administrators or specific end users only. It's geared to everybody. So if you actually have a YouTube channel for your institution and you feel like it should be part of the gadgets, reach out to your administrator if you're not one. If you are an administrator, you can reach out to me and I can tell you how to configure that YouTube channel with your account. But it makes it a little bit easier in regards to inserting videos onto a page. This page is kind of getting thrashed right now, so don't judge me, and please don't make your pages look this way because they're not going to be nice for your web visitors. But anyways, I've configured a YouTube account, and it's just our training YouTube account. But what you can do by configuring a YouTube account as an administrator, and again, for those of you that aren't admins, that's perfectly all right. Reach out to your admin if you do have a YouTube channel and you want them to configure it with your account. Once they do so, you're going to have this YouTube gadget available, and you're going to see the most recent thumbnails of your YouTube page. So instead of the old school route of insert, edit video, utilizing the file chooser, or plugging in the video from YouTube or whatever, you know, everyone has a lot of things to do. It's a quick fix to just drag and drop. Again, it sounds like a hot dance move. You can drag and drop that video onto your page. You'll see the source code. OU takes care of the embed code. Again, I'm not going to get into too much depth in regards to inserting and editing a video, just as I wasn't going to get into too much depth with inserting an image. But just know that that YouTube gadget's available to you. You can insert a video via that YouTube gadget. Next up, this is a more recent gadget, and it's kind of amazing. So I really love, I'm going to give a quick shout out to something about OU that I love a lot. I love it all, but there's something in OU campus that I love a lot, and it's the reminders. So what I just did, I just did that very quickly. I'm going to go back to my page. I'm ensuring my page is checked out. I'm accessing the properties. The only way to see the parameters is if your page is checked out. You can set reminders, and I'm not going to get into reminders right now, but reminders trigger a specific event, a notification. Okay, there's something that needs to be done in regards to this page. But let's say you're editing a page and your department has access to this page, and you just want to notate something specific about that page. It's not a reminder, it doesn't fall into this category, but it's just a note you want to make about this page. You know, maybe you're working on this page, and then tomorrow or next week, you know, your colleague's going to be working on this page, and you want to give them a specific note in regards to what their contribution should be to this page, or however you want to utilize the Notes gadget. What you would do, click on Notes, tab to Public, type your note. When I say public, it's not forward-facing, so you're not going to type a note and then your web visitors at your institution are going to see it. So don't worry, it's all internal to OU campus. Any note that you put in the Notes gadget is going to be viewable by anybody that has access to the respective page that you're contributing the note to. So maybe you just want to notate a specific change you made, You kind of want to log different things you're doing without utilizing reminders. Maybe a reminder is not necessary, but you just want to make sure that your department understands what's going on with this page, and communication is flowing between you and your colleagues. You could contribute a public note. Once you've created that note, you would just click on the floppy disk icon. And now that note's there. Something to keep in mind is an administrator can edit or delete any notes. Lower level users, anyone that, I don't like saying lower level users because we're all the same level. However, lower level users, I'm using it again, they're able to edit their own notes and delete them, but something to keep in mind for those of you administrators on the call, you're able to edit or delete anybody's notes. There's also private notes. So let's say that you're working on a specific page, and for your own log, you want to notate the changes you've made, the images you've added, something you need to do in regards to that page, and you're not worried about making your colleagues or your department view those notes or understand those changes or whatever. They're just applicable to you. It's kind of like your own little Dear Diary private note. You can plug that in here, and it will be specific to you. And when you're viewing this page and you open up your Notes gadget, you're the only one that's going to be able to view those notes. Nobody else will. And then you would just click Save. So now I have public notes, I have private notes. So public notes, again, anybody that has access to this respective page can view this public note. I'm able to edit or delete it. The private note, I'm the only one that's able to edit or delete it or view it. Moving on. Activity. The activity gadget is site-wide activity within the last 90 days. So you're able to view what's been going on in your site in case you're curious. It's more geared towards administrators, I think I'd have to say. Typically, anyone outside of administrators are probably not too concerned about site-wide activity, but who knows, maybe that is important to you, and that's why there is the activity gadget, but I've seen that utilized mostly by administrators. There's also the workflow gadget, and what I've done, I'm going to go back into edit mode just to make sure all my gadgets are showing. Something to keep in mind as either an approver or someone that submits for approval. So UCampus rules in regards to a workflow process. So you have the ability to submit your work for approval, to have somebody to approve it, and it gets published out to the lab, right? However, there is this little workflow gadget, and it's really important to keep a BDI on it. Let's say that you've submitted your work for approval, and you look at your workflow gadget, and you realize that it hasn't been approved and published out for a while. You can communicate to whomever your approver is and say, hey, I've had this item pending in my approval, my workflow, gadget. Can you review it and approve it? Alternatively, if you are an approver, it's good to keep your workflow gadget open so you can view and see anything that is pending your own approval and make sure that you're, kind of keeping on top of those items that are pending your own approval. So it is good to look at your workflow gadget. And again, I'm not going to get too in-depth with what these icons represent or how to work through the workflow gadget. However, if you are somebody that is an approver, if you look at your workflow gadget, you're going to see a thumbs up. So that means it's pinning your approval. If you're somebody that's submitting for approval, what you're going to see is an icon of a person. So if you see that icon of a person for a while and you've submitted your work for approval, you can always access that workflow and, you know, reach out to your approver and say, hey, I really need my content published out. Is there something wrong with this? Fill in the blank. So just know that that workflow is available to you. Something else to keep in mind, and I'm going to open this in a new tab. You also have your workflow gadget from the dashboard drop-down. So I'm going to access that now. Once an item has been approved in a workflow, you're going to see a radio tower as the status. Best practice is to archive that item. That way, while you're looking at your workflow, the only items you see are items that are actually pending approval or waiting on approval. And once those are complete and they get published out to your live website, it's best to archive them. You can't archive an item when the status is still pending approval, just to make sure that nothing's lost and everything gets published out. However, if you do end up seeing a radio tower icon, go ahead and archive that. That way you're only looking at items that are pending approval or pending your own approval. And just so you know, when you do archive items, well, this is blank, but when you do archive items, they're going to appear in your archive items inbox. So they're going to stay there. They're not going to disappear into oblivion. They're going to be there still. But it's just nice to have a good snapshot in regards to items that are waiting for approval or pending your own approval. And once that action is complete, go ahead and archive them, and they're going to appear here. They're going to be stored. They're not going to disappear, but they're going to be out of your general snapshot in your workflow gadget. Next up, Page Analytics. And I apologize, and I am embarrassed because clearly my Galena About Us history page is not getting that much activity. However, if any administrators are on the call, I can't emphasize how important and amazing it is in the account setup to configure different Google Analytics profiles and make them available to your end users when they are working in their pages. And any end users on this call right now, I think it's important to see how many unique web visitors, how many different web visitors, just kind of a snapshot of your page activity. I think it's really important because you work very hard on your pages, and it's nice to know it's kind of following up to ensure that people are actually looking at your pages. But again, mine's going to look a little bit pathetic, so don't judge me because this is just a training Google profile that we utilize. But if you did want to view Page Analytics, what you would do is you can select a specific date, and you can click on one of these different tabs. So maybe I want to see the visitors. Again, my page is a little bit sad. No one comes to see the Galena About Us history page. However, we can make believe that there's data here. Just know when you click on one of those items, you can kind of tab and scroll through, and you can see different users, users by country, users by state, visitors by browser, visitors by OS, by ISP. So there's different information available to you. And I think it's really good in regards to search engine optimization that administrators configure different Google Analytics profiles, make them available to different users in your OU Campus account, and that way you have access to this Page Analytics gadget, and you can view, you know, just different activity on your page. I think that's very valuable. There's also the link check gadget. Let's see if I can minimize this. Okay. There's also the link check gadget. So for those of you on the call, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the page check. When you perform a page check, you're going to have spelling, links, W3C valid, accessibility, depending on which of the 4 checks that you're utilizing at your institution. You can perform a link check via the page check. However, if you're not utilizing that, there's another way to perform a link check, and it's via the link check gadget. You would click to find broken links. It's going to take a little bit of time because it legitimately is scanning every single link on the page to make sure that everything is good to go. No broken links, that's awesome. If there were any broken links, you would actually see the little path within that gadget, and you could click on that path and rectify the situation. Next up is bookmarks. So this applies greatly to anybody that's utilizing OU Campus. If you're an administrator and you run reports and utilize reports and you end up configuring different reports that are meaningful to you, whether it's based on your initial site setup and configuration, you want to report against users, groups, access settings, workflow, etc. So for those of you that aren't administrators on the call, you can go ahead and take a quick nap or do something right now. So I'm going to demonstrate for those of you that are administrators how to utilize your bookmarks gadget. So what I've done is gone to reports, custom reports. I'm just going to run a very generic basic report because I don't want to put you all to sleep by plugging in a bunch of different items. This is very basic. So let's say this report is very meaningful to me, and I want to make sure I bookmark it so I can run it later. What I'll do is click on the plus bookmark icon in the bookmarks gadget. Let's say it's a week later. It's not, but we're just pretending, and that's okay. Let's say it's a week later, and I want to go back and run that user report. What I can do is access my bookmark gadget, click on that report, and that report's going to run in real time. So that's the shout out to the administrators. For those of you on this call that aren't administrators, that bookmark gadget will still work in your favor. Let's say you only have a handful of pages that you're responsible for editing. What you can do is access those respective pages, click on the bookmark icon in the gadget, hit enter just so it plugs in, go on with your day. Let's say I want to make sure I've bookmarked other pages because these are the pages I'm responsible for editing. Just hit enter, navigate away, and then maybe tomorrow I come in, I'm done with my work in OU Campus, I'm done with my work in my site, but I need to access my page that I'm responsible for editing. I can access my bookmarks gadget. I'll see the pages and reports. I'll click on the pages that I need to edit, and I'll be directly taken to them. So it's just a nice way to navigate to pages or reports or different custom URLs in OU Campus that you're working with. All right, bookmarks complete. Request help. So you can configure, so again, this call is kind of a hodgepodge of different user levels. So for those of you that are administrators, what you can do, and for those of you that aren't, again, you can take a really quick little nap. However, for those of you that aren't administrators, this portion won't apply to you, but that's okay. You'll know it's available to you, so you can bug someone if you want this accessible. With the bookmarks gadget, it's kind of amazing And when I say kind of amazing, I mean it's totally amazing. So with the Bookmarks gadget in the Gadget Manager area under the Site Setup, an administrator can determine, I'm sorry, not Bookmarks, Request Help, I digress. Where is Request Help? Okay, with Request Help, the administrators can determine who the helper is going to be. So let's say you're working in OU Campus, you're kind of stumped on a page, you've forgotten how to insert an image, you don't really know where a specific file is, you're just straight out confused, and you want to reach out to an administrator at your institution. An administrator can come into this Gadget Manager area under the Account Setup and determine who is going to manage the Request Help gadget. You'll click on the gadget. Best practice is to make sure it's available to everyone because you want to make sure everyone has help when they need it. Where it says Properties, you can determine the group of users that Request Help will go to. And best practice is to just have it go to administrators because that's going to be, you know, well, I know some of you are a one-man show at your university, so it might just go to you, but there's also some universities or colleges where there's maybe 10 administrators, so somebody's going to get help if they need it. Anyway, as an admin, you can request or you can select who this notification is going to go to. So I'm going to select all administrators, click Save. But by doing so, let's say I'm editing this page, and for whatever reason, I'm not 100% confident of the image path to select an image and add it to my page, and I don't really know where to go or whom to ask. And the other thing is, too, you all are so different and unique and awesome. There's some schools where the OU Campus team is, I don't know, 1 or 2 people. There's some schools where it's 1,000 people. So it's very different. But at the same time, you know, you want to make sure that everybody's on the same page and your site's being utilized to its fullest potential. And something I have learned in my training experience is that a lot of people working in OU Campus don't 100% know whom to reach out to for help. And they don't know who their administrators are. They don't know names, you know, or whomever to contact in the event they need help, you know, editing their page. That is where this little Request Help gadget comes in handy. They don't need to know a specific name. They don't need to know who the contact is. They just know that they're requesting help from whoever the kind of grandmaster is of the website, and it's going to go to all of those individuals. They can send out that Request Help. The cool thing about this is a really amazing gadget. What's really cool about it is that wherever you are in OU Campus, if you utilize the Request Help gadget, I'm currently logged in as an administrator, so by default, I'm going to receive that Request Help message. I'm going to access my inbox. The very, very, very cool thing about that is if I look at that message, whomever the end user is, the administrator, the content contributor, editor, whatever, fill in the blank with everybody's unique, amazing name at your institution is, when they send off that Request Help, the cool thing is it's going to provide the path of wherever they are in OU Campus. So if I were to receive this as an admin, I would know exactly the page or the unique URL in OU Campus that they're working in and what they need help in regards to. So they don't need to communicate, I'm working in the academics, enrollment, financial aid, fill in the blank page, it will plug it in automatically, and I think that's kind of groovy. All right, going back to a page to edit, just to show more gadgets. So I left off at request help. Next up is page parameters. I'm not sure if anybody on the call is a user level 4 or below, but something to keep in mind is users 5 and above have access to the page parameters. And in order to access the page parameters, you would ensure your file is checked out. You would click on the properties icon. And again, so long as it's checked out, you'll have access to the parameters of the page. But again, this functionality is only available to level 5 users and above. But by being a level 5 user, if you are editing the page and you don't want to have to check a file out, click on properties, access parameters, what you can do is click on the page parameters gadget, and everything that you see within this gadget is going to mirror identically what you'll see in the properties parameters area. So if you need to change your page title, description, heading, image slider, and again, this one's a little bit funky because as we all know, with OU Campus, the interface is identical for all of us, but your page templates are different. So the page parameters you're going to see in the Galena page parameters gadget are going to differ from yours. However, this is where you can change the look and feel from your actual page template. So the title, description, heading, image gallery, etc. is what's being utilized in Galena. But just know that regardless of, the different variables, the different fields, etc. that Galena has within those page parameters or within properties parameters, you will still have that page parameters gadget, and it will be specific to your school's template. Minimizing that guy. Page info. So if you click on the page info gadget, you're going to see page products. The initial page product you're going to see is going to have a dependency tag associated with your page. And as everyone knows or should know, when a page is created in OU Campus, a file is uploaded, an image, document, etc., there's going to be a unique identifier, which is known as a dependency tag, that's going to be assigned to that item. So when this financial aid page was created, there was a dependency tag assigned to it. Maybe I'm curious to find out if other pages are pointing to my financial aid page that I manage, essentially. What I could do is click on the dependency tag associated with my page. Again, it's the first tag under page products. From there, the dependency tag gadget is going to open up. I'll see the dependency tag associated with my page. It's going to be plugged in there. I'll see file information associated with it. And the subscribers, again, that's going to notate any pages that are linking to my respective page that I'm in. So it doesn't look like my page is that popular right now, which is okay, but I just wanted to see if any pages were pointing to the page that I was in. There's also the, move on down a little bit, close this up. There's also Quick Publish. So this is more of an administrator gadget, and typically it's turned on for administrators only. The Quick Publish gadget, again, it should only be utilized by administrators because best practice is to turn on a final check upon publish. So for instance, if I'm going to publish out my page, it's best to have a final check run to ensure that your page is correct in regards to spelling, accessibility, links, etc. However, if you're an admin and you know everything's good to go, you can utilize this Quick Publish gadget, plug in a version description, click Save and Publish, and it's good to go. You don't need to worry about running those checks. You don't need to utilize Control or Command S. You don't need to utilize the Save icon in the toolbar. You can just simply plug in a version and save and publish. And I can't stress enough I know everyone's extremely busy, but in my trainings, I can't stress enough how important it is to plug in a version whenever you publish out a file, because versions will stack up and paginate. They're not going to be deleted. Versions are searchable by description, so even if you're still super tired and want to move on with your life, your day's done, you're publishing a page, best practice is to plug in a quick version in regards to what's occurring in the edits or changes within your page. So when you access that version later, you're going to know what that specific version had in regards to edits, maybe videos, images, maybe it's season specific in regards to office hours, whatnot. So I really can't stress the importance of putting in a version description anytime you publish out a file. All right, assets. This is very exciting. This is our latest and greatest gadget, and I'm happy to demonstrate it to you all today. It's very similar to that of the Snippets gadget. You'll see your assets, and again, very similar. You can drag and drop respective assets onto your page. You can either insert an asset now. Before, you were limited to the double clockwise arrows. However, now you can access the Assets gadget, drag and drop. So make sure when you drag and drop that you left click, hold that guy down until you're ready to put it where it should go, and then release, and then that asset's going to be added to your page. So that's just a different way. You're not going to be judged. Maybe you're still, comfy and confident utilizing the double clockwise arrows, to each their own, but just know that that Assets gadget is there for you to utilize, and that's very exciting. All right. Next up, time for some questions. So I went through different gadgets and their functionality, but I do have a new item for OU Campus that I'm very excited to show. So I'm going to leave this open at this point for questions, and then I'm going to show you a really awesome new forum/feature that we have available now. So something to sit on the edge of your seat and wait for, but in the meantime, does anyone have any questions in regards to utilizing assets, or I'm sorry, not assets, gadgets, using them to their fullest potential, how they work, what they do? We have a question from Mr. Eric Turner from Mount SAC that I hold near and dear to my heart. If I'm going to demonstrate the Assets gadget. Eric Turner, I demonstrated it just for you. Are you still on the call? Or did you drop off after you saw me demonstrate the Assets gadget? Okay, so yeah, Assets is similar to Snippets. It's just a drag and drop. Not just, that makes it sound like it's not as cool as it is. It's amazing. Okay, and then there's another question. When someone answers the help request, are other alerts retracted so multiple admins don't waste time trying to answer? So when someone submits that help request, what's going to happen is the OU admins or whomever is deemed, the contact within the gadget itself, they're going to receive notification in OU Campus, and they're also going to receive notification via email. So there aren't going to be any additional alerts after that. Is that what you were asking, Jeff? Does that make sense? Any other questions? This was kind of a mixed Training Tuesday because it was administrator-based in regards to configuring gadgets and, you know, utilizing them to their potential, but then it's also end-user-based in regards to how to use them. And, you know, gadgets are amazing, and they are what I refer to as little OU Campus stalkers. They follow you throughout the product. You never know what gadget's going to sneak up on you until you access a specific area, and then you click on your gadgets and you see them. But really, I think it's super important for those of you that are on the call as administrators to communicate gadgets to your end users and how to utilize them, because really, you know, it's kind of easy access help for them, and the less, you know, they request help from you, the better, to put it blunt. We have another question, so let's see. All right, Michelle, so that's an awesome question. So we have a question from Michelle that says, in the page parameters gadget, can you update the URL there too? Like for the page here, if you want to call it financial aid or financial-aid instead of financial aid. That's an amazing question. So Melissa, within the page parameters, you can't update the URL. However, you can update it outside. So what I'm going to do is navigate via the content dropdown, access the pages list view. So long as you have access to rename, rewrite, etc. files. So let's say I want to rename financial aid. Remove this little box. I think my WebEx chat and participants list is getting in the way of things. So I'm in the pages list view. So if anyone missed it, I accessed it via the content dropdown, clicked on pages. Here's financial aid that I was just working in. If I wanted to rename it, what I would do is from the hover dropdown under file is select rename. Put that hyphen in there, you know, if that's what I need to do, hit enter. And I think I set up a regex that prohibits me from renaming it that way. But and then I just copied and pasted something very strange into that box. So let me go back. Okay. If I wanted to rename financial aid, I think I put up very stringent file naming regexes on my site. However, what I would do is just hover over the respective file, tab to File, Rename, change the name. It's not going to let me put a hyphen just because I don't know how I configured my file naming. Let's say I'm just going to add a 1 at the end and hit enter. So now my financial aid page was renamed. So essentially, Melissa, whatever you plug in as the file name in your OU Campus account, that's going to populate the URL, which brings up a good point. When you are naming files, when you're creating pages, sections, etc., you don't want to have a long file name because essentially that is going to populate a URL of that respective page. But yeah, in order to change it, you would simply hover over, File, Rename, type in whatever the name is, hit enter, and now that file's renamed. That's how you would change the URL. So the URL and the file name go hand in hand. So you can't update that in the page parameters. You can update the page title, the breadcrumb, etc., and the page parameters. However, you can't update the URL. Did that answer that for you, Melissa? Okay, sweet. I love questions answered successfully. Okay, so we have a question from Jeff in regards to the request help. So what will happen, Jeff? Okay, so Jeff has an awesome question. So when you utilize that request help gadget and it ends up going out to different administrators and, you know, you don't want other administrators to feel like that's still a pending issue or something's going on, Jeff, it will still be a bit of a pending issue. I'm not going to lie to you. But they will receive it via their OU Campus inbox. They're going to receive it via their .edu email address. But what they are able to do is if I access my inbox, they're able to reply to whomever submitted this / whomever's included in that request help. So let's say, Jeff, you sent me a question in regards to a page, and, you know, I helped you out. Everything was good to go. I could just come in here and reply, and then anybody in that chain of emails, any of the administrators, et cetera, they would receive my message, and they would know that that action was complete. Does that answer your question, Jeff? Does anyone else have any other questions? Well, don't be shy because I do have something very exciting and amazing to show you all that I hope that you utilize, and I hope it becomes your very best friend in OU Campus. If there are any administrators in the call, raise your hand. Just kidding. I'm just being a silly tease. Anyway, any administrators, something to keep in mind is we do have this amazing new UX feedback forum. So for those of you that are familiar, we have the feedback form under the help drop-down, which is a place that you can go, suggest new ideas, etc. However, this is really exciting, and our product development team rules, and they've created this new UX feedback. And what it is, anyone on this call should utilize it, communicate it to anybody that you work with, anybody that uses OU Campus. I'll go ahead and show you this URL. That way you can all sign up and utilize this feature because it rules. But essentially what you'll do is you'll access the UX feedback form, click sign up. There's a handful of questions, and the questions are geared to finding out information specific to how you utilize OU Campus so we can better customize and tailor the product toward you. So yeah, it's a very short questionnaire. Fill it in, it's name, email, are you an end user, administrator, what's the best thing about OU Campus, what's the thing you struggle with, etc. You submit it. Your information goes to our product development team, and from there, our product development team is going to kind of categorize, okay, these are administrators, these are end users, content contributors, etc. And what they're going to do is send out surveys for you all that are specific to how you utilize OU Campus. You'll fill out those surveys, send them back to our product development team. There's also, if anyone's close to us, there's also in-person feedback sessions. So if you're close to our corporate headquarters in Camarillo, California, you're always welcome to schedule an appointment free of charge. Come visit us. We'd love to see you. We make it a good experience. You can meet with our product development team, communicate anything you would love OU Campus to do, anything that maybe is a workaround for you and you would love that workaround to be gone. Or you can have, schedule a WebEx session if you're not local, if you're East Coast, Midwest, in the South, whatever. You can schedule a WebEx session with our product development team if you just want to let them know, you know, hey, I love OU Campus, which is clearly how you're going to start the conversation, and then just let them know, you know, I've noticed it might be a little bit easier if when I'm doing a function, it reacts this way, you know, this is the behavior I expect. So I highly, highly, highly encourage everybody to utilize that feedback program because it's very amazing. And then any of you that are administrators on the call, in my Galena instance, I added it as a bookmark, so as an add-on. But what I'll do is I will send I'm going to send the link to everyone. So I really, really mean it because we love you all as customers and we want to hear how you feel about the product. We want to make sure it's working to its fullest capacity. And you're all responsible for updating your college, university, institute website. So we just want to make sure that your job's easy and workable and it feels good. And so please make sure that you sign up at the UX feedback URL, and you know, we're so happy to hear from you and help you and make sure that your experience in OU Campus is optimized and ideal. So hopefully everyone got that little chatted link over. Any questions before I leave you this afternoon? Okay. If there are no questions, then I'm very excited to announce that we will have an amazing guest speaker, not really a guest speaker because he works with us. His name is Logan Sackett, and he is going to work with us next week, or next month, I apologize. Next week is a little bit too soon. He's going to present our next Training Tuesday, and it's going to be on Google Analytics and OU Campus. And it's so important, and he's going to walk through configuring Google Analytics profiles and how to utilize them to their fullest ability in OU Campus. So you can see site statistics and hopefully encourage everybody to update their pages more and see how active or, you know, how many visits their pages are getting. So yeah, next Training Tuesday is going to be on September 27th, and it's going to be Google Analytics and OU Campus. Again, it's going to be hosted by Logan Sackett, which is an amazing, amazing individual that works for OU Campus, and he's kind of a Google Analytics guru. So I highly encourage everybody to join that Training Tuesday next month, September 27th, and learn how to utilize Google Analytics to its fullest potential. Do you see any other questions coming through, Erica?
Nope, I think I've got all the questions handled. Wait, hold on. Oh, Angela French says, Angela, I responded to your question about the add-ons. Is that what you're referring to? Waiting for a response. Other than that, oh, the dependency manager link. Let me look through the chat log.
Manager?
Yeah, Angela. Oh, let's see.
Hi, Angela French. It's so exciting to see different
Angela,
people that I've worked with on this call. So, hello, Angela French. I hope all is well in Olympia, Washington.
I don't believe I got your question about the dependency manager link. Would you mind resending it to me? I apologize if I missed it. There's been a lot of questions in sort of 2 different forums, so I've kind of been bouncing back and forth trying to make sure everyone's been answered.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot over Erica's email, and I'm going to shoot over my email, so that way if anyone has any follow-up after that, I know when you get put on the spot, ask, you know, when someone's saying, do you have any questions, and you don't really have any at that point in time, you know, if they come up and you know, you have some follow-up questions or ideas or suggestions or whatever, I just chatted everyone my email and Erica's email. So if there's any outstanding questions or issues that weren't addressed completely in today's Training Tuesday, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll make sure that those questions are answered.
Okay. Angela French says, is there a way to see the DM link from the page itself rather than typing in the path in the gadget? Let me go look at how.
Yes, there is. Let me go back. All right, Angela. Let's see. Okay, so if I'm working in a page, so I'm back in OU Campus. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm sharing it. Okay, so I'm in OU Campus. If I access a page, so I'm just going to grab any random page just to demonstrate it. It doesn't matter what page I'm in, it's going to function the same. I'm just going to go back to that financial aid page that I was working in. I'm going to utilize my sidebar gadget. If you click on page info, Angela, so the page info gadget, the first dependency tag that you're going to see is the tag for your page. So if you want to know the dependency tag for your page, it's right there under page products, the first tag. So that's there for you to look at, and you'll know that tag. Maybe you want to find out other pages pointing to your page. You could just click on that tag, and then the dependency tag gadget's going to open up and let you know if there are any pages pointing to it. But yeah, it's just accessible via your page info gadget. The original, or the initial dependency tag you see is going to be specific to the page that you're in. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that looks like it answers your question.
Awesome.
I'll also say as a note for any future WebExes that you're attending, notice in the chat where there's the send to drop-down above the field where you type in. That determines who sees the question. So right now, everything being sent to host is only, as I'm the host, I'm the only person who's been seeing it. Presenter would be the person talking at the time, so Brianna, host, and presenter, we'd both see it. So just for future reference, since there's been a lot of questions, I think, directed just at me, which is fine, but just in case you wanted to speak directly to Brianna, that's the way that you could. So
Erica is the hostess with the mostest, though, so I understand why you're sending questions straight to her, not to me.
So just that it's not an immediately evident thing. I didn't realize this was a feature until probably after a few WebEx sessions. So helpful tip for anyone who's attending a future Training Tuesday.
Are there any other questions? Okay, and again, I can't encourage enough to make sure that you go to that UX feedback, and anytime you're working in OU, administrators put it in as an add-on so your end users can click on that little guy and send us information, because it's so important in regards to user retention. You know, especially, this is a shout out again to any administrators on the call. You know, it's a lot when you do train your end users, and it's so important that they feel comfortable and confident in what they're doing. And if there's any hang-ups they have, hurdles they face or whatever, you know, it's nice for them to have that outlet and say, hey, you know, this could work a little bit better, I recommend this specific feature improvement, etc., and we're sincerely all ears. So I highly encourage everyone and anyone at your school, your university, institution utilizing that UX feedback, because it literally comes directly to our product development team, and our product development team is awesome, and they want to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of OU Campus. So make sure you are using that. Any other questions? Looks like we might have one. Okay. It was just a thank you. You're so welcome, Laura. Thank you for attending. Okay, well, I appreciate everybody attending today. I know it's lunchtime for the West Coasters, so your stomach's probably growling at this point. The East Coasters, it's that horrible 3 o'clock time of day where your body's ready for a nap, kind of after lunch, and you get a little bit tired, and I think there should be a company-wide mandate for everyone to take a nap at 3 and then maybe go home afterwards. I'm just kidding.
Yes,
but
I agree.
But thank you so much for attending today. And again, we've sent off my email, Erica's email. Don't be shy. We're going to ignore you. I'm just kidding. We won't ignore you. If we can't answer a question, we'll be sure to pass it off to the proper individual that can address it. And it's been amazing for all of you attending to join us today. And thank you for those of you I've worked with. And thank you to those of you I haven't worked with. It's exciting to see new names. So thank you so much for attending today, everybody. All right, enjoy the rest.